All right, so this is the dress I was working on that has a wrist loop bustle. And you almost can't even see it from here. When I hold it up, you can really, well, maybe you can't see it that well either. But I wanted to show you how this looks on the top. So on the very top layer, you're going to get real close and you can see there's this little slot that I made. And I'm right next to an applique, so that way it's nice and sturdy. And what I did was sewed around like a buttonhole and then sliced it open so there's a little notch. And what this is for is so you can pop the wrist loop through here, so that way when the dress is down, you see nothing, and then when it's up, you can use it just like this. So positioning it on the bride is the most important part, I think. Sometimes it's on the center back seam, and sometimes it's to her handed side. So if she's right-handed, sometimes you'll need to be off center a little bit, like 9 inches or so. You kind of want to try to work with where there's a design though. So that way it's both sturdy and hidden. So like I would try over here. I did on hers and it didn't quite swirl up right. So we stuck with the center back. And this is just made from her same tool. I rolled this over. It's nice and juicy. I rolled it like, let's see, I think there's 4 layers in here. So it's a nice thick tube and it's the same colors. So it blends in really well when it's underneath. And the back side, where it connected it all, just looks like this. So I sew it very strongly to the bottom of where I made that buttonhole through these layers. And that way it doesn't flip out. So if you sew it to the top side, the liner will start pulling out of the buttonhole. So you want to sew it to the bottom side, closest to where, you know, the hem is going to sit. And then her liner is pulled up with a single or a couple bustle points under the dress. So that's why it's just connecting these. Now you can take this as far back as you need to. So you can actually attach this to the lining fabric and then make your buttonhole through these layers and kind of thread everything up through. So it just depends on how much of the dress you're pulling up with this one piece. This bride is going to actually have her bustle done in these 2 parts. So she has this train loop and she has a standard bustle. So she's going to put her lining up and then carry the dress with this for a little while. And I made this long enough that she can dance with it, so it'll go in the crook of her elbow. And it's real cute like this too, but she has the standard one just a ways up from it. So you can see the loop is right here for the other bustle. So she can use it for photos. So she's got both options, which is really cool. But yeah, so this is the center one. This is, let me see here, probably an 18, maybe 20 inches cut for this piece. So it's, I just match it to them. I use a piece of ribbon and drape it around and make sure I pin it on and make sure it fits with their arm. So that way it lifts everything up in the way that makes sense for them. And yeah, so like I said, it just pulls back through and I show them all how to use it. And if it's very thick, sometimes I'll add a snap back here or a ribbon or something to tie the loop in place so the loop's not flopping around back here. I'm going to look at it on her and see if it needs one or not. But what I'll do if it looks like it's going to show is I will just lay it smooth and put a little ribbon right here to tie this to. So that way it's in control and it's put somewhere nice. And you have to show somebody how to use this though, because obviously this is not something they see every day. But yeah, pretty straightforward as far as that goes. You can charge 45, 60 bucks, whatever makes sense for your area. Sometimes I'll decorate this a little bit more on the outside. I'll put like flowers right here and just so that way when it comes up, it's kind of like vines. So obviously charge more for something like that if they're wanting it very decorative. So I hope that gives you a good start with getting yours figured out. Let me know if you have